Welcome to She Trusts Herself, the podcast for women who are learning to trust themselves, honor their inner voice, and choose themselves without guilt. I'm your host, Tashleem, author, guest speaker, and certified human design reader. Together, we'll explore overcoming self-doubt, building deep self-trust, personal growth, and stepping into the next version of yourself with confidence. In today's episode, I want to talk about how to hear your true self. And by that, I mean clearing the noise. So often, we forget to mute the voices and opinions of other people so we can actually turn up the volume and listen to ourselves. And it's something that has taken me a fair bit of work to do. And we're constantly being shown things. We're constantly consuming, or we might be creating as well, but there's just so much that's coming towards us that we need to process and digest. And it is perfectly okay to actually just go, I just want to listen to myself and turn inward, and turn inward for as long as you need to. And there's so many things out there to be, you need to be X, Y, and Z. You need to listen to my advice, whether you've asked for it or not. There's comparison. You might see things on social media in particular and go, oh my gosh, I'm not where they're at. What's wrong with me? And the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. Everyone's journey is different, and you don't know what's going on behind closed doors for them. And that's where the overnight success thing can be really hard, because you might see someone all of a sudden and go, oh, they've had it really easy, but you just don't know. And maybe they've had a really quick shoot to success. And if they have, incredible, but that's not always the case, and you just don't know. And so comparing your full story and your full picture to a piece of someone else's is not realistic, and it's not fair to yourself. It's just probably going to do more harm than good, because you don't have their full picture. And it's really easy to lose track of who you are in that process if you're constantly in a state of comparison and listening to everyone else's opinions and kind of living life the way that they want you to, rather than going, no, I'm the main character, main person in my life, and I get to choose. And there might be times when you want to confide in others or seek out their opinion or perspective on things, just so you've got more information and something to consider that maybe you hadn't thought of. But you don't always have to take that on board either. You can just go, cool, thank you so much for your advice. I appreciate it. I value it. But, maybe you value your voice more. And that is totally fine, because it's your life. You live with the decisions that you make and the consequences of your actions. One of the times that I really got caught up in external expectations, and it's kind of happened time and time again. It's been one of those lessons that pops up every now and again for me. It's a real humbling reminder to be like, why am I not choosing myself? Why am I not listening to me? One of the most recent ones was returning to work in particular. And there was a lot of mixed messaging in terms of going back nearly at full-time capacity as well. It ranged from, oh, you're going back so early, your baby's still really young, to you're going back really late and maybe just go back one day a week. Do you really want to go back 4 days a week? I knew that it may not be right for other people and they may not approve, but it's not for them to approve. It's my life. I am living it, and it's up to me to do what feels right for myself, for my family, and everyone else is entitled to their comments, but you don't necessarily have to let that sway you. Another time that happened as well was when I was deciding that I wanted to be a guest speaker and start calling in opportunities for that. There were people in my closest circle that just didn't understand it. And they still don't, to be perfectly honest. I've shared that I have been on podcast episodes and things like that, and they don't get it. In comparison, if I say I've achieved something at work, then they're fully supportive and fully behind me. But if it's anything outside of that, you can't be a full-time author, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, cool. I will take that into consideration, but I'm not going to let your opinions on how I should or shouldn't spend my time, or, limit myself from doing the things that actually light me up and bring me joy, because you've got concerns about it. It's not your life. You don't know how I feel about things. If I had listened to that, then I wouldn't be recording this podcast episode right now. I wouldn't have been a guest on other podcasts. I wouldn't have been a guest speaker. I wouldn't have done things, because I would have gone, you know what, you're right. I shouldn't be doing this. So silly of me. I need to get back in the lane that you think I belong in and just carry on as you want. And you don't need to if you don't want to. It's really hard, I think, to kind of detach from that and go, these are the voices of other people, but how do I actually feel about the situation? And it can feel really uncomfortable at times as well, because if you're used to doing what kind of is agreeable to other people, it can feel really awkward when you stop doing that. And you may feel like you need to explain your thoughts to other people. And the truth is, you don't have to. You don't owe anyone an explanation if you don't want to give it. You could simply say, I'm doing it because it felt right for me. And if they have any issues with that, then that's on them. It's not on you. You've done what feels right for you. End of story. If it feels like there is a lot of chatter coming in from others, or I feel like I'm over consuming other people's content or getting caught in comparison, then I will kind of notice how I feel. And that usually means I'm feeling really tired, or I might find myself slipping into feelings of kindness or enviness at times, which is really unpleasant for me and definitely a sign that something is not right. Because usually I try to be a celebrator of other people, and I don't like feeling envious because I don't enjoy that feeling. I don't find it very pleasant at all. And that's usually my alert signal or warning to be there's something not quite right. So when that kind of happens, I just take a step back and go, okay, what's the situation that's causing this feeling? Other ways that you can kind of silence the thoughts of others is to kind of turn inward. And you can do that by taking some time out to just sit with yourself, just turn off your phone, and maybe just step away from technology for a little bit so you stop consuming and just let your brain process everything. And you can go, what do I want? I know what other people think I should or need to do, but what do I actually want to do? You can ask yourself that question out loud. You can journal on it. You can think it and just let your voice kind of respond to you however works for you. That kind of self-reflection piece just allows you to actually detach from other people's opinions and work out how you actually feel about a situation. And if that's not something that you've done before, it's a really strange feeling. I noticed that when I first did it, and it felt really, really strange. I was like, oh, I've never really asked myself what I thought about things. Or really questioned how I came to a decision about things, not necessarily knowing that maybe it was just a combination of what other people had told me to do. And then I kind of claimed that as my own thought. And when I started actually asking myself, I realized that sometimes there were actually differences in opinions and thoughts. And I went, okay, well, my voice is worth listening to. And seeing as it's my life, I can look at putting my voice above the voice of others. And that is totally okay. It's not selfish. It's, a normal thing to do. Your self-trust will grow stronger the more that you do this as well, because you start to know that you have the answers within you. You don't have to outsource them. It also allows your intuition or your gut feeling, or however your body speaks to you in terms of making decisions and kind of guiding you. It gets stronger as well, because it goes, oh, you're actually listening to me now. I will stop trying to shout above the noises of all the other people. I'm not shouting in a crowd or a crowded room full of people anymore. You've kind of excused them all, and now I can just speak to you, and it's just you and I, and this is great. And your inner voice deserves to be heard. So if it's on mute at the moment, I'd encourage you to take it off and encourage you to start listening to it. And there might be some times when it's not super clear, and that's okay too. Maybe you need to sit with the decision a little bit longer, or maybe it requires some input from other people, and that's okay as well. You're definitely allowed to be able to determine what's best for you. In essence, you don't have to outsource your decisions every single time. You're all capable and strong enough to decide for yourself. And your inner voice is always going to be there for you no matter what. And you just have to give it space to be heard.
And that's a wrap on another episode.
If this one resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future conversations, and share it with someone else who's learning to trust herself again. You can connect with me on Instagram, Tash, where I share more about self-trust, personal growth, and human design. If you'd like to go deeper, you can explore my books and offerings, all designed to support you as you build self-trust and step into the next version of yourself with confidence. Until next time, please remember that you are not too much or too little. You're just you. Keep choosing yourself.